All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about Tyson Fury and Michael Hunter and some rumors that have been confirmed about Tyson Fury coming out of his camp, and also the effect that that has on Deontay Wilder and the odds for this particular fight. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, before we get into the subject matter of this video wrap, please make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Hit the like button, share the video. It goes a long way towards helping the channel grow, and it'd be much appreciated. So in this video is kind of a little bit of a gambling video because I've been paying attention to the odds for this fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And I think that this is an opportunity that people have to, if you're a gambler, to actually make some money on this fight. And I've been saying this for a while, that Tyson Fury is not 100% what he says that he is. And most importantly, that he got caught cheating in his last fight, which is what drove him on to the victory. Specifically, he's accused of a lot of things, and I can't say the truth of the truth or the falseness of several of the accusations. But as far as the one with him using loaded gloves, you can clearly see that on that was the case when you look at the fight, and that fact that there was a videotape, or excuse me, a photo taken by a photographer that literally showed the knuckles of Tyson Fury's hand coming through the gloves. Tyson Fury is also somebody that has a record of cheating in other championship fights, specifically the Vladimir Klitschko fight, where he got in there under the influence of performance-enhancing drug, or was allowed to, because he had tested positive before that fight and after a fight by Christian Hammer. He also got into the ring with a thumb detached, right, from his gloves against Christian Hammer, something that he didn't get away with, but had to be caught in the ring. So Tyson Fury, in my estimation, is somebody that if you take away his ability to cheat and you've got to fight him straight up, there's a much better chance of the other guy winning, because he's gone in like toe to toe with Otto Wallin. It got his face opened up. Very lucky to get out of that with the win. So I just am not a particularly big believer that Tyson Fury wins his fights because he's this exceptional boxer. He's also tends to fight very low level competition in the other fights that he's not cheating in when he fights higher level competition. So it was a rumor, though, that the reason Tyson Fury postponed this fight with Deontay Wilder, because it was supposed to go off in July 24th, and now it's postponed in October 9th, is because Tyson Fury was not performing well in his training camp. And as a result of not performing well in his training camp, he needed to buy his time. So he basically faked this COVID diagnosis, which pushed the fight back, and now the fight's going to be on October 29th. Now, the reason why I say that he faked it is, on one side, on the COVID side, that was pretty easy to figure out that he was faking, because the dates that he has for his tests and his positive and his negative test just don't make sense. He said that he tested positive. They say he tested positive on July 9th. But then his second test was on before July 14th. That's just 6 days. When you test positive one time, you have at least a 10 days, preferably a 15 days where you're supposed to quarantine before they'll retest you. For some reason, for Tyson Fury, that date got shrunk down to just less than 4 days, according to Tyson Fury in his timeline. But the most important thing about it was the reason why he faked that COVID test. And that is because he was getting pummeled that's the description that I got, that he was out on his feet against Jared Anderson, and then in another another sparring partner had beaten him up, and now it is basically being confirmed that that was the case because Michael Hunter, who was a member of the training camp, says that he was there and he said, Tyson Fury was not doing well in training camp, and then even he implied that there was something funny, with the COVID test. Now, I would not say for 100% that just because somebody tested somebody getting beat up in sparring doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get beat up in the fight. They could be working on something in camp, right? But to get put out on your feet against Jared Anderson, you look like you're a suspect. And then Nicholas Asbury, who was a former trainer, former sparring partner for Tyson Fury, when he was talking about the camp, would say that people would get the better of Tyson Fury, but then what Tyson Fury would do in the camp is Tyson Fury would start cheating. And he would get really thin padded gloves. And he said that not only did he find very thinly padded gloves, he also found gloves with egg weights in them. And then when he found them before he sparred or after he sparred Tyson Fury, because he originally said he sparred him, and he's like, he got hit with Tyson Fury, and he was like, it felt funny. And then when it healed, he didn't understand why he's getting all these knots and healing all these knots. So he kept his knots kept developing on his head. So he said he goes back and he checks the gloves, and then he finds that the gloves are paper thin, or basically that he can get his finger just by doing this. He can get his hands all the way to his knuckles, and then he also found egg weights in the gloves. So maybe in this particular training camp, he's not able to do that same thing because it has now been exposed what he does because Nicholas Asbury caught him, and Nicholas Asbury let everybody know what it was Tyson Fury was doing. So all in all, it's like Tyson Fury is not a very confident, he doesn't seem to be truly a very confident fighter unless he has the ability to cheat. It seems like his ability to cheat has been minimized in not just in the fight, but in the sparring, in the training camp, because he's not able to use, and this is just shameful, loaded gloves on sparring partners. It's just crazy. So, but anyway, as far as it goes with the Deontay Wilder fight, that's why I'm saying from a gambler standpoint, these are the type of things that people look for to know when they're trying to figure out who they're going to bet. And if you just look at the first fight, the second fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury on its face, you could think, oh, Tyson Fury is going to come and just destroy Deontay Wilder in the second. But I don't think that that's the case because of, number one, what's come out of his training camp, and also because of how the first fight went when Tyson Fury did not have just straight loaded gloves. He only had the type of gloves, with his hand halfway down the glove. Deontay Wilder has a very good chance to win this fight because especially if you look at the way that he is preparing for the fight, he looked like he has a different and a definitive game plan for Tyson Fury, and I see a very good likelihood that Deontay Wilder is going to win the fight. Now, could it go the Tyson Fury way? Absolutely, it could go Tyson Fury's way. I don't want to say Tyson Fury isn't a good boxer or doesn't have the ability to box without cheating, but I'm telling you, it's not nearly what it is when he's able to get away with the murder that he was able to get away with Deontay Wilder in the second fight. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.